Between 2007 and 2011, the U.S. spent approximately $63 billion with a B, on the high cost of proton pump inhibitor drugs. Today, that cost is even higher. For those of you who do not know what a proton pump inhibitor drug is, it is a group of drugs that whose main action is to reduce gastric acid production. They treat what some people call heartburn, some people refer to it as indigestion, some people call it GERD. These medicines include over-the-counter drugs such as Prilosec and Zantac, or doctor-prescribed drugs such as Nexium or Persuasive. Once you start taking these drugs, many times you are hooked for life. Acid reflux affects about 50% of Americans. If you have not been affected, I'm sure you know someone who has. WebMD tells us that the culprit can be many things. A lot of times food that are high in acid content, such as pizza or pasta, acidic foods like grapefruit and oranges. There are chocolate, coffee sometimes, eating on the go too much, and a diet that maybe is high in fatty foods can all contribute to indigestion. My husband's friend was recently suffered from acid reflux. After going to the doctor and going through quite a few expensive tests, his doctor wrote him a prescription for Nexium. After reading some of the side effects for the drug, he decided to seek an alternative solution. The alternative solution was apple cider vinegar. I realize some of you might be leery of trying home remedies to treat such ailments, but today I ask you to have an open mind as we discuss some of the cost of proton pump inhibitor drugs, the serious side effects of proton inhibitor drugs, and listen to a solution to acid reflux, which includes taking apple cider vinegar. This apple cider can also help many other ailments as well. According to the advisory board, proton pump inhibitors drugs are the third most prescribed drug in the U.S. Between April 2013 and March of 2014, doctors wrote 19.3 million prescriptions for proton pump inhibitor drugs in the U.S. Nexium is the most popular and most prescribed drug. Many people, when they are going to the doctor in this quick life that we live, they go and they really just want a quick fix. They want to leave the office with a prescription thinking it is going to cure their acid reflux or indigestion. But 50% of patients prescribed these drugs continue to have symptoms after they leave, and sometimes this leads to patients taking mega doses and sometimes combination therapy. Many prescriptions are unnecessary. Some studies suggest that drugs are wrongly prescribed in 2/3 of the cases. Now that we've talked a little bit about PPIs, let's talk about the serious side effects and cost of the drugs. In 1 year alone, Nexium, which is the most expensive of the PPI drugs, cost Americans $6.3 billion. A 30-day supply of Nexium can cost up to $150, and many insurance companies do not pay for Nexium. Other less expensive over-the-counter PPIs or such things can range from like $10 to maybe $50, and those would even include Tums, like I said before, Persuasive, Prilosec, something like this. Patients are subjected to other costly tests as well in order to determine that they have acid reflux. Tests such as upper gas, referred to a lot of times as GI, upper gastrointestinal endoscopy are often required. Esophageal tests and x-rays are also required sometimes. Proton pump inhibitor drugs come with serious side effects as well, and we will talk about that next. Some of the serious side effects include increased kidney disease, reduced vitamin B absorption, which can lead to anemia, vitamin C, tissue, which helps with tissue growth and repair, bacterial growth in the small intestine, and sometimes bleeding ulcers. Now that we've talked about the side effects, let's talk about what we could use as an alternative cure. Apple cider vinegar is inexpensive and has no known harmful side effects. It has been around since 5000 BC. It was originally called sour wine, and it was used originally for a food preservative, but it was soon found out that it had many medicinal uses as well. The word vinegar means sour wine, like I said, and it can actually be made from any kind of carbohydrate that can be fermented. We are going to talk about apple cider, but it can also be made from grapes, dates, coconuts, beets, other things as well. Dr. Mercola, who is a well-renowned doctor of natural remedies, touts the many benefits of apple cider vinegar. You can easily improve the acid content of your stomach and help acid reflux by taking 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. The apple cider vinegar that he suggests is one like this. This is organic. It is called Bragg's Organic Raw and Unfiltered Apple Cider Vinegar. You just take 1 tablespoon with water a day to treat any kind of acid reflux. Other ailments which vinegar can help are such things as diabetes, heart health, weight loss, nail fungus, skin irritations, warts, sore throat, just to name a few of the things that apple cider vinegar can also help with. In conclusion today, we have discussed the high cost and serious side effects of proton pump inhibitor drugs. I realize that today people want, like we said, a quick fix, and some people are not interested or thinking about using an alternative drug. But today I urge you to give apple cider vinegar a try. You or someone you know that experiences heartburn or indigestion, if they would try the remedy themselves, I believe they would be very happy with the results. They can avoid expensive drugs and serious side effects by just taking apple cider vinegar. You really do not have a whole lot to lose, except maybe your health and money. So please give it a try. Between 2007 and 2011, the United States spent approximately $63 billion, with a B, on the high cost of proton pump inhibitor drugs. Today, that cost is even higher. For those of you who do not know, proton pump inhibitor drugs, sometimes referred to as PPIs, are a group of drugs whose main action is to reduce gastric acid production. They treat what some people call heartburn, some people call it acid reflux, indigestion, sometimes it is referred to as GERD. The medicines include over-the-counter drugs such as Prilosec and Zantac, to doctor-prescribed drugs such as Nexium. Once you start taking these drugs, you are usually hooked on them for life. Acid reflux affects about 50% of Americans. If you have not experienced acid reflux or indigestion yourself, you probably know someone who has. WebMD states that the cause of indigestion a lot of times is based on the foods that we eat. High acidic foods such as pizza or pasta, citrus fruits such as grapefruit and oranges, chocolate, coffee, and other culprits such as eating on the go and eating a diet high in fat can cause us to have indigestion. My friend's husband recently suffered from acid reflux. He went to the doctor, and after some pretty expensive tests, his doctor wrote him a prescription for Nexium. After reading the side effects of the drugs, he decided to seek an alternative solution. That alternative solution was apple cider vinegar. I realize some of you are not open to trying home remedies, but today I ask you to listen with an open mind as we discuss proton pump inhibitor drugs, their cost, their serious side effects, and I ask you to consider using a home remedy such as apple cider vinegar to treat indigestion as well as other ailments. According to the advisory board, proton pump inhibitor drugs are the third most prescribed drug in the U.S. Between April 2013 and March of 2014, doctors wrote 19.3 million prescriptions for proton pump inhibitor drugs in the U.S. Nexium was the most prescribed drug. Most people, when they go to the doctor with our busy schedules, they are going in for a quick fix. Many want to leave the doctor's office with a prescription in hand. But 50% of patients that are prescribed these drugs continue to have symptoms, which often leads to taking megadoses or a combination therapy. And many of the prescription drugs are unnecessary. Some studies suggest as many as 2/3 of the prescriptions written for acid reflux are wrongly prescribed. Now that we've talked a little bit about PPIs, let's talk about the serious side effects and the cost of the drug. Proton pump inhibitor drugs are costly. In 1 year alone, Nexium costs, which is, as I stated before, is the most expensive of the PPI drugs, cost Americans $6.3 billion, again with a B, dollars. A 30-day supply of Nexium can cost up to $150. Many insurance also do not pay for Nexium. It is on list, one of the higher lists, and a lot of insurance companies just do not pay for it. Other less expensive over-the-counter PPIs can range from $10 to $50 a month. They are often used for less frequent episodes of indigestion, and they have found to be not to be as effective. The other thing is patients are subjected to costly tests as well when they go to their doctor to be diagnosed. Some of the tests that are run for diagnosis are what is referred to as upper GI tests. There are also esophageal tests and upper gastrointestinal x-rays that are performed as well sometimes. Proton pump inhibitor drugs also come with some serious side effects. Some of those serious side effects include increased kidney disease, reduced vitamin B12, which can cause anemia, vitamin C deficiency, which vitamin C helps with tissue growth and repair, bacterial growth in the small intestine, and bleeding ulcers are some of the side effects. Now that we've talked about the serious side effects and the cost of the drug, let's discuss the alternative by using such a drug as apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is inexpensive and has no known side effects, and it can treat acid reflux as well as other ailments. Apple cider vinegar was discovered in 5000 BC. It was originally a food preservative, but quickly found that it had many medicinal uses. It was actually, the name was called sour wine, is the translation of it, and it can really be made for any fermented food. We usually see it fermented from apples, but it can be fermented from other foods such as potatoes, even coconuts, and beets. Dr. Mercola is a well-renowned doctor of natural cures, and he touts the many benefits of taking apple cider vinegar for acid reflux. He says you can improve your acid content of your stomach and help acid reflux by taking 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. He suggests using a vinegar such as this one. This is Bragg's raw, organic, unfiltered apple cider vinegar. You would take 1 tablespoon. You can add it with water. The taste is a little bitter sometimes, so a lot of people like to add water to that to cure your acid reflux needs. Other elements which apple cider can help with is diabetes, heart health, weight loss, skin issues, nail fungus, cold sores. The list goes on and on, but that is just to mention a few. In conclusion today, we have discussed the high cost and serious side effects of the use of proton pump inhibitor drugs. I know many of you are not open to trying an alternative solution, but I ask you to consider that. When you go to your doctor, we usually trust what they say, but doctors and pharmaceutical companies make millions of dollars off of the drugs that they prescribe, so they are not very likely to recommend a natural cure. Today, I urge you to give apple cider vinegar a try. If you or someone you know experiences acid reflux or other illnesses that we have mentioned, my friend's husband gave it a try and it worked for him. You can avoid expensive drugs and harmful side effects from taking these PPI drugs. And after all, what do you really have to lose? Except your health and money.